What's up, dudes? We got a killer podcast for you guys coming up. We have Mr. Capital on. We're going to talk about the whole FTX situation, the whole state of the economy. It gets deep into that, and it's also just a ton of fun, lots of advice, and some good conversation. But before we get into that, I want to let you know that we're brought to you by us. We're on tour right now. We got some fire dates coming up. We're going to be in Nashville tonight, the day this comes out. Tickets are going fast if they're not already sold out. We also have a huge weekend coming up at Denver at the Comedy Works. Get your tickets now. They're going fast. Denver, we want to see you out there. We're going to be at Salt Lake City too. We're going to Atlanta, and then that's it for this year. So if you're in those locations, if you're near those locations, get your tickets to chatandjt.com. We're also brought to you by the legends at Prize Picks. Prize Picks, what up? Prize Picks is the easiest and fastest way to play daily fantasy sports. Download the Prize Picks app or go to prizepicks.com to sign up and play daily fantasy sports. First-time users can receive a 100% instant deposit match up to $100 with promo code godeep. If you deposit $100, Prize Picks will give you $100. If you deposit $50, Prize Picks will give you $50. Don't forget to enter promo code godeep and sign up for an instant deposit match up to $100. We're also brought to you by the legends at Manscaped. Manscaped, thank you so much for keeping our trims peeled, for looking after our hogs, making sure that our dinks are looking fresh and clean, because it's never too early to play holiday music. It's never too early to start thinking about gifts. It's never too early to start thinking about your loved one's pubes. That's why you got to use Manscaped and make people jolly. Get 20% off plus free shipping with the code godeep at manscaped.com. That's 20% off plus free shipping with the code godeep at manscaped.com. Manscaped, get your jingle balls ready for the holidays. Finally, we're brought to you by the legends at Helix Sleep. What up, Helix Sleep, guys? I love my Helix Sleep mattress so much. I can't recommend it enough. I love Helix Sleep. Take their 2-minute sleep quiz and get the perfect mattress for you. I've had my mattress for 2 years now, and I've had the best sleep ever. Helix is offering up to $200 off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows for our listeners. Go to helixsleep.com/godeep. With Helix, better sleep starts now. All right, let's start the show. What's with deep? Going deep. Chat and JT. We are going to stimulate the nipples and deep fry the chicken wings. What's up, Stokers of Stoke Nation? This is Chad Kroger coming in with the Going Deep with Chad and JT podcast. I'm here with my compadre, Jean Thomas. What up?
Boom clap, Stokers.
We're here with Jake on the sticks once again. What up, Jake?
What up, dog?
How you living?
I'm living, you know.
And we are back in the stewed. We had a couple weeks. No, full week of traveling.
Yeah.
And I'm exhausted.
I'm tired too. Did you sleep good last night?
Yeah, but I just took a nap. It was the most disorienting shit. You know what? I think it's because
you look like
you look
a little shocked.
Do I have that on my face?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I almost had a panic attack when I woke up because I went to bed took a nap at like 4:30. Wanted to get up at 5 p.m. and then woke up at 5:30 and it was dark. I think it was because of the time change that like accentuated the whole thing, and I almost didn't drive here because I was like so freaked out. I was like, where am I and what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, you look like you're in like a horror movie and it's like act 2.
Yeah.
And the monster has revealed itself.
Yeah.
And it could be any of us and it could be anywhere.
Dude, are you the Babadook? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
I've never seen that, but yeah.
Fuck, man. I knew he was coming. I thought I got past Halloween and got past... No, stop, dude. Fuck. But...
Would you see that? Somebody just moved by the bathroom door.
No, I didn't see that, dude.
Something's there.
What?
It's just nails creeping outside the door. What the fuck? Dude, I was so tired last night because, yeah, I've been exhausted. I went straight to a wedding and raged. And then last night I was trying to watch The Crown with Hold Me Close. And I was trying so hard to stay awake. I was dreaming with my eyes open. Have you had that before?
Dude, I've been having that lately.
I was like, I'd open my eyes, but my body and brain were so tired that I would just be like seeing things. And it was my dreams, but I was awake.
Crazy shit, man. What's up?
It's like it's kind of like a hallucinogen if you stay up enough.
Yeah.
Like if you get tired enough, you kind of hallucinate in regular life.
I get so cranky when people keep me up. Like, I really like to get to bed around 10, 11, midnight if I'm pushing it. Yeah, 7, dude. And if people keep me up past that, like the look on my face, I don't know. I get so
I'm with you.
I get so mad.
Yeah.
Because I wake up early and I'm like, people are like, come on, stay up late. I'm like, you don't understand. I'm gonna wake up at 7 regardless.
And people are like, hey, are we gonna party after the show? And I had to fly back. Strider had to leave because he officiated the wedding.
6, right?
His flight was at 6, so he left at like 4 a.m.
Yeah.
And he murdered officiating. He was so good at it.
Yeah.
He did a really good wedding voice.
Nice.
He was like, hello, everybody. Welcome.
Really?
It was really sweet. And he crushed it.
Yeah. He was nervous too.
Yeah, he was soups nervous. I mean, I was very nervous. Yeah, it's a nerve-wracking thing. But he delivered as we all knew he would. But I hear you, man. Yeah, it's tough being tired. It's the worst feeling in the world.
It is the worst feeling.
All right, well, we got to call a friend, though, because get jacked up for this. Chad put this on my radar. There's a lot going on in the crypto world, right?
Yeah, so the collapse of FTX, this crypto company led by Sam Bankman-Fried, who, as far as I can tell, a lot of money was lost, billions of dollars. A lot of people who trusted him, and big investors. I'm talking Tom Brady, Giselle, lost, millions, hundreds of millions. He lost, it sounds like $9 billion worth of people's money. And so it's one of the biggest sort of fraud scandals, I think, in the crypto world in history, for sure. In history of finance, it's up there.
So
this is big.
This is a hot story. We have a friend, Mr. Capital. He works in finance. He's a whiz with numbers, and he's a whiz with words. So we're going to call him up and get his perspective on it.
Yeah.
Yo.
What's up, dog?
What's going on?
How you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you?
We're good, dude. We were just talking about how tired we are. Are you tired?
Oh, I'm tired, man. I'm really tired.
Because you're grinding. How long's your work day?
They're long. Crypto never sleeps.
Dude.
But it looks like it might have got
Could have died.
Yeah.
Could have died, but it's not sleeping.
Mr. Capital, it's good to hear your voice.
Oh, it's good to hear yours.
Dude, so I really wanted to hear about this whole FTX thing and Sam Bankman-Fried. As far as I can tell, it sounds like he's kind of the Bernie Madoff of the crypto world. Is that correct?
Yeah, a little bit of Bernie Madoff meets Enron meets Lehman. He managed to steal $10 billion in customer deposits in under 2 years. It's pretty impressive.
So when you say he stole it, he was just using that money to bankroll his own lifestyle or to keep the Ponzi scheme going of funneling that money to other investors to keep more investors coming in?
More the latter than the former. If you think about what an exchange is supposed to be, when you deposit $1 or Bitcoin on that exchange, they're not supposed to touch it. It's supposed to sit there in an account. And that's what credible exchanges like Coinbase do. Every dollar you have sitting there is backed by $1 on their ledger in their system. What he effectively had is he had his own prop trading firm that sat next to this exchange. So when things went bust, he had just under $9 billion of customer liabilities, which was like $5 billion of US dollars, $1.5 billion of Bitcoin. But in it, he only had $900 million of assets. And those assets had nothing to do with those liabilities. Like out of that $900 million of assets was $450 million of Robinhood stock. So the guy was literally just taking customer funds from his exchange, which was actually a legitimate business and decent product, and letting his trading firm invest in a bunch of venture deals or just invest in crypto markets. And clearly they lost an inordinate amount of money. And him and only a handful of other people, internally knew about it. So like literally just stealing from customer funds to go speculate.
What should be the ratio of deposits to assets?
1-to-1. There shouldn't be a difference. So for $5 billion of dollars, he should have $5 billion of dollars on his balance sheet, because this is like banks. If you bring your dollar to Bank of America or J.P. Morgan, they go lend that out, right? And there's a leverage ratio. Exchanges aren't allowed to do that. They have to be fully reserved. They can't be fractionally reserved. So the second they have a mismatch off by a dollar, it's fraudulent. When you have a mismatch off by $9 billion, it's criminal liability like has only been seen a handful of times in human history.
So what's the end game for someone like that? Like what do they do this with anticipating to win all the money back? So they're basically taking a huge risk and then in anticipation of getting more money on top of what they have?
Yeah. So how he was able to do this was he launched. So he had this trading firm and he launched an exchange 2 years ago, and the exchange quickly became the number 2 or number 3 most popular exchange in the world by volume. And he launched a couple of tokens. So he launched this FTT token, which was a token that was affiliated with this exchange. And, he said he had $5 billion of this token, even though they owned 80% of it. So if he ever tried to sell that, he maybe could have got a couple $1 million from it. Then he launched a decentralized exchange. And he said he had, $3.5 billion of this token. But if you ever tried to sell it, like the actual market cap was like closer to 50 million. But what he was able to do is he was able to post those tokens as collateral against lending desks and get real dollars. So, he's sitting there and he's saying, look, these two things are worth $7 billion. You can give me $3 billion. You're over collateralized 2-to-1. So these lending desks would give him $3 billion and he'd be able to go invest that. So his view is if he can keep this up, he'd eventually make the money back. And what happened is the crypto market had a big sell-off in May. There was a collapse of this thing called Terra Luna, which was an algorithmic stable coin. That led to a collapse of a couple of funds, and he blew up during that time. But he pretended he had money. People were calling him the JP Morgan of crypto. He was offering bailouts to these different platforms, all as a means to get their customer deposits on his platform. And he kept the Ponzi going for another 4 months before it all unraveled.
So he doubled down when he should have kind of not necessarily come clean, but hedged a little bit.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, he doubled, tripled down. He did $2 billion of acquisitions in June and July, and people were calling him the savior of the industry. But really, it was all just trying to plug his hole.
Amazing. And
so he's currently in the Bahamas right now. He's on the run. Is that correct?
So he's in the Bahamas. That's where he's based. He's at Albany, which is as luxury as it gets. Tiger Woods, Justin Timberlake, they got a PGA Tour down there in 2 weeks. So the fact that he's not arrested right now is mind blowing.
And why is he not arrested yet?
I mean, I guess the party line is you have to, be formally charged with the crime. I don't know how much more evidence they need, despite the fact that $9 billion is missing. The conspiracy theories will say it's because he was the largest donor to the Democratic Party last year.
Right. So he's a little protected that way.
And there's some fishy stuff too about how he was using the money. He was working with the government to basically launder this money to Ukraine to fund Ukraine, but then laundering it back. Do you know what the deal is with that?
Yeah, that's getting more into the conspiracy theory world again. But he had a bunch of donations to the World Economic Forum. He had a bunch of donations to Ukraine. He had a bunch of donations to the Democratic Party. He was the largest donor to the Biden campaign ahead of the last election. So, but everyone asked where the money came from, and people thought he just had this money printing machine in this trading firm, but clearly that wasn't the case. So, they did stadium sponsorship deals. The arena down in Miami, the Heat play, it's the FTX arena. If you guys watch any baseball games this year, it was FTX on every umpire's uniform all season long.
Wow.
They did F1 stuff. They had relationships with Tom Brady and Shaq and Steph Curry and everybody. And it was all just right from customer deposits. He has a $50 million penthouse in Albany that he's sitting in right now. That was just from customer deposits.
And so you said that banks were giving him loans based off his ledgers. Is that correct?
Yeah, so not banks. There are these lending desks within crypto, and they were giving him loans based on this like illiquid token collateral that he had. So his FTT token was one, Serum was another. Those were the two biggest ones. You know, at his peak, he said he had $11 billion of those, but there's no way you could have ever sold any of that for more than a couple $1,000,000.
Are any of those people like at all culpable or liable for lending to him when he didn't have like the coverage?
For sure. I mean, they're idiots, right? And like they should all be fired, and most of them have been fired. A lot of them went bankrupt anyhow. So he actually tried to save three of the companies that he used to borrow against that all went bankrupt because they were just like completely incompetent. There's one that's still standing, but yeah, 100%, they're all liable because they let this continue to perpetuate.
And
It's like you two, if you guys just started Chad and JT's token right now, and you guys minted $1 billion out of thin air, and you said it's worth $1, and you go, hey, you know, can you give me $2 billion? I'll give you, you know, $1 billion of this. And I'd say, sure. That's effectively what he did and what they did.
And are those companies, are they allowed to see like your financials before they loan to you, or are they just trusting him that he has it?
No, for sure. You get the balance sheet beforehand. So that's how all this came out. He provided one of those lenders a balance sheet as of June 30th, and that got leaked to the press. And then the CEO of the largest exchange tweeted about it and said it looked like he's running a big Ponzi. I have to sell this token. And that started a bank run. So they had $5 billion of withdrawals last weekend. And then there was never enough collateral to meet the rest of the demands. So they had to gate everybody else.
So do we know how much money Tom Brady and Giselle lost, Steph Curry, all these people who were linked to him?
Probably not a ton of dollars. I mean, Tom Brady and Giselle did invest in the company. The rest of them were getting paid in like FTT tokens or equities. So it was like paper wealth, but it's not like they put money in.
Okay.
But I think Tom and Giselle are the only two that did, and probably a couple $1,000,000.
And
Gotcha.
is there more? So is there less government oversight in crypto than in like traditional banking?
Yeah, for sure. And these guys were offshore. So he started this business in Hong Kong. Well, he was in California at first. Then he started this business in Hong Kong because he was worried about regulatory backlash in the U.S. The Hong Kong government started to crack down, and he moved to the Bahamas. So clearly there were signs ahead of time. But U.S. exchanges are pretty regulated. So if you go to Coinbase, like, they're publicly traded now. They have a trust. They can't commingle funds. They have audited financials. It's like a real legitimate business. And, for a while they've been hamstrung because they can't do what these offshore exchanges can do. But yeah, crypto has a ways to go on the regulatory front.
It's good to know that my $1,000 worth of Ethereum is safe, because that's who I went with.
There you go.
Does the fact that he's a vegan have anything to do with this?
I mean, I don't want to body shame anybody, but have you ever seen a vegan that looked like that? I think that's a lie too.
Dude, tell me about it.
Oh, so you think he was claiming vegan so that he could present as more evolved and that would incur more business?
For sure. It was all part of his effective altruism, moral high ground bullshit.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Capital, did you have an inkling that this was coming?
You smell like, you see these red flags and something smells off and his story never adds up. But I mean, the guys went to MIT. His parents are Stanford law professors. You don't think he's stealing tens of millions of dollars from customers to fund his personal lifestyle. Maybe there's a hole, maybe it unravels, maybe he has to come out of pocket. But no, I didn't think this was the magnitude of what was going on.
Was he entertaining the ladies? Is he married? What was his sitch there?
Well, this is where the rumor mill gets going too. There's basically 10 of them that live together in this penthouse in Albany, and apparently they're all having relationships with each other.
Oh.
And they should all be in jail.
Was it a mixed pot of men and women, or was he the only dude?
No, it was a mixed pot.
Good.
Yeah.
He was sharing the wealth that way.
Yeah. He was giving away all the wealth that way.
Yeah, it seems like at a certain point, someone was like, "Wait a second, those aren't Impossible Burgers." Then he's caught. Dude, what's the future of crypto? Where do you think it's headed?
I think he set the industry back quite a bit. Yeah, I think there's still a lot of excitement. There's still a lot of people in the industry, and there's still going to be a bunch of capital that flows into it. But you're going to have a big regulatory backlash in the U.S. and for good reason. And you probably set it back 2 years, 3 years. So, but go ahead.
What's the ripple effect of like this kind of gigantic wealth loss? Like I remember when Madoff went down, like the MTA had all of their pension funds put into his investments. So you had all these like blue collar people who work on like subway trains that just got fucked. Is there that kind of like I don't know, just tragic fallout from this situation?
Yeah, the Mets got fucked by Madoff too, which hurt the most. Yeah, I mean, I think you had a couple pension plans here. You had some, large asset managers invest $1 billion. So their investors are all going to be fine. Like given the investors they had, that's not a huge amount of capital. But if you think about it from a crypto industry perspective, $10 billion is gone and in bankruptcy courts, which could take 2, 3, 4, 5 years to play out. And who knows what the recovery is because he invested in a bunch of bullshit and you don't even know where half the money is. So if the multiplier of $1 in crypto is like 4 or 5 to 1, so $1 invested might cause a price to go up $4 or $5. And you think about $10 billion, that's 40 or $50 billion of potential value. Yeah, that's 5-10% of the crypto market cap gone. So the ripple effects of that are real. You have a lot of people that invested 100 million Coinbase users alone. You've probably got 300 million people around the world. So you don't have a ton of pensions and fire departments and police departments in crypto yet, but it's going to hurt a lot of mom and pops there for sure.
That's a shame. What do you, on a more macro level, what do you think? What do you see the economy doing? Are we headed for economic disaster, or is it going to be? Is everyone just kind of, freaking out, but they don't have too much reason to be?
I think it's hard to not see the U.S. going into a recession next year. You just don't see rates go up this fast and not have something break. So, the average 10-year treasury in the U.S. was at 1.6% a year ago. Today it's at 3.9%. It's like a huge move. Everyone's celebrating inflation. It's still at 7.5%. Big tech is having a bunch of layoffs. So you're very likely going to see a recession into the middle of next year. Inflation's still running hot, and that's just a recipe for some trying times. And you don't have a good playbook for inflation. So if you think back to the past 3 financial crises in the U.S., you had COVID, where they just injected trillions of dollars into the economy. You had the global financial crisis, where you're able to do the same. And you had the tech bubble, which was actually more of like a 2-3 year prolonged recession. It's probably going to be more like the tech bubble than it is the global financial crisis or COVID, if I had to bet.
Because those were like singular events, and this is more just like broken parts in a very complicated system.
Exactly.
Well, then, so what's the safest place to put your money?
Right now you can invest in some of these, 2-year treasuries at 4% and roll them. That's not terrible. You have these I bonds that'll pay you up to 10%. You can only put in $10,000 into that, but it's a good place to start. And you could just keep buying the market when it goes down. But it's cash, even though you have a high inflationary environment, is still going to be your best friend here because there's going to be a bunch of volatility.
What's a 2-year treasury?
So the U.S. government prints debt with multiple tenors. So you're effectively lending to the government for 2 years, and right now you make 4.4% a year to give them that money. So it's quote unquote risk free.
Because it's insured by the government.
Yeah.
So what do you think for the audience out there who might be a little anxious? What do you think is that what you think the best move is, to stay safe, or like how can we combat this upcoming recession, and it's kind of like bulletproof.
I think I think cash is king right now. Don't spend money you can't spend, and pick your spots wisely to invest, and don't do anything that SPF has done.
What's your read on Elon and his game plan for Twitter? And I've heard people saying, and kind of Schadenfreude laden, that they think he's going to go down with this thing. How do you see it?
It's an awesome experiment that we get to see happen. He's fired 50% of. He fired 50% of the workforce already. He's going to fire 75%. I mean, you never want to celebrate job loss, but I just think these companies have gotten so bloated and so many people do nothing. It'll be really interesting to see how he runs it. There's a bunch of low-hanging fruit to fix Twitter, and Twitter should be it is a good product that it appeals to a certain cohort of people, but it should be such a better product. So it's going to be really interesting. Elon started his career, as a software internet guy with PayPal, right? And then he went into the hard tech stuff with Tesla and SpaceX. So a lot of people are like, oh, he can't do software. He can't just do pure internet. But that was where he started his career, and he attracts a lot of really good talent. I'm not going to bet against him.
You've said it before on the podcast, but can you describe the brief interaction you had with him?
It was when he was acquiring Solar City with Tesla, which was riddled with conflicts of interest. His cousin was he was on the board of Solar City. His cousin was on the board of Solar City. The Solar City guy was on his board. And it didn't make any sense for Tesla to be acquiring a solar panel company that was about to go bankrupt, but he had a bunch of money in it, so he was bailing himself out with his shareholders' currency. And this was before Tesla really turned the corner. So it was trading at a big spread, which means the market is pricing in a low probability that the deal gets completed. And I had to be the one to tell him why. And he said he's going to fucking Mars, and I can't calculate a spread, and they don't trust him. I told him, I said, Elon, there's always one billionaire in the room, and that's you. So I tell them I trust you, but he was not happy with that.
Why do people hate him so much? Do you have a good sort of succinct summary on that?
I think people hate people who are successful.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of envy out there, and the guy's just trying to. You can hate his tactics, you can hate how his personal life, whatever. I don't know why you care, but all the guy's trying to do is, and he did, spearhead the electric car evolution, which is awesome. And he reinvigorated the space race and has, America back on top of that, which is important. And now he's doing things with Starlink, like he single-handedly was responsible for Ukraine having internet during this war. So I don't know. Seems like a decent guy to me.
Yeah, it seems like if you balance it all in the ledger, there's more positive there than negative. And a lot of the negative seems to be connected to just like ego and personality on his end, but some of that seems like it actually helps the things he's working on. Like he's just kind of playing the part of
for sure,
like that we love, of this like rebel billionaire who does his own thing.
You're not gonna be able to build reusable rockets if you're a normal guy on Twitter.
He's almost like the Pete Davidson of billionaires.
Totally.
Everyone's mad at him for having a huge cock.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
You know what? Just accept it.
It's not helping you to be mad at Pete Davidson's huge cock.
Yeah.
As we've seen with other stars.
For sure.
How did the markets react to the non-red wave that happened over the recent election cycle?
Because you're going to see more gridlock, it was kind of fine. The most important thing right now for the markets is the Fed and the Fed's reaction function. And so you had inflation last week that was, better than feared. So the market ripped. You had like the best 2-day move in the NASDAQ since the tech bubble burst. You had there's this Goldman Sachs non-profitable tech basket, which is about as far out the risk curve as you get. It had its best 2-day move ever. So it's tough to, unbundle the move from the election results and the inflation, but market's done well since then, and seasonally it's a good time of year.
I have a question. A lot of like high-ranking financial officials, I'm thinking of like Jared Diamond. Is that the dude from where's he from? JP Morgan?
Yeah, Jamie Dimon from JP Morgan.
Right. So he came out with a book about like responsible like government leadership, and it leaned heavily liberal. But I have trouble believing that's how he operated his actual business. Do you see that often with like these titans of industry that once they've made it to the top, they kind of play more to the like moral left, but it's not in line with how they actually got there?
I think a lot of them fall under the Rockefeller Democratic, right, which is socially liberal, fiscally conservative. So Jamie Dimon will never say he's for big government and high taxes, but he is for, the right social policy. So he'll lean into things like education. He'll lean into things like affordable housing. He'll lead into things that he thinks are good for economic growth and good for society. It's the same thing with Lloyd Blankfein, the former CEO of Goldman. And so they'll run their business ruthlessly, but that's how they think you have to operate. If you're operating the country, there's a different lens through which you're evaluated. It's not just purely a return on equity, which is how, banks are evaluated. It's, some combination of how the economy is doing plus how your citizens are doing.
So you don't have an innate distrust of billionaires who go into politics. You think that they treat it like a separate job with different fundamental goals?
Well, I wouldn't say we've seen many successful instances of that, right? So I think it's case by case. I think like Michael Bloomberg is, probably the best case of this. He did an amazing job in New York City.
Yeah, the bike lanes, and he got trans fats off the menu. Like, he was big on health. He was making a fitter, hotter New York.
That was his goal. That's what he ran his third term on: fitter, hotter New York.
Dude, I'll vote for that.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad idea. All right. Well, anything else, Mr. Capital? What's the big thing that no one's talking about that we should have our ears and eyes tending to?
The big thing that's no one's talking about. I don't know. I don't know if there's anything big that no one's talking about. I think everyone's going to sleep on crypto, and I think people are going to wake up in a couple of years and wish they bought some Bitcoin or some Ethereum or some Solana right now. So everyone's talking about it, but for the wrong reasons.
So I should keep my $1,000 in Ethereum.
Yeah, you'll be happy.
Nice, dude. Are you dropping into Warzone 2? Are you a Call of Duty guy?
My job is a game, so I don't get much Call of Duty time after this.
Right, I hear you.
Yeah, do you get like a chemical brain release when you see those numbers moving on the screen?
When they're green, when they're red, it's like the opposite.
What do you do when they're red? How do you combat the anxiety?
You can't be anxious, otherwise you're in trouble.
You'll make
They're
bad
going to be
moves.
red. They're going to be red just as much, if not more.
Now, when you have a bad day, do you tell your lady, hey, shit went sideways at work today, or do you keep that in?
It usually doesn't need much explanation, but yeah, you let her know sometimes.
Because it's
on the big days. On the big days, like last week.
Because it's on your face. It's impossible to hide.
Yeah, sometimes.
Well, dude, you sound great. You're always steady in the storm. I appreciate that about you.
I just learned from you guys, Always gotta be steady. Always gotta be stoked.
Thanks,
oh,
Mr.
dude,
Capital.
Thanks, bro. Well, dude, this was wildly informative. I'm gonna have to look up a lot of the things you said to make sense of them, but I don't think anyone could have made it make more sense for us.
Yeah, first Google search after this podcast is the word hedge. Let's figure out what that means. Dude, I was because I was like, we gotta call Mr. Capital on this, but I couldn't remember your name. Like I was like, is it Mr. Finance? Is it Mr. like Big Biz? And finally I was like, Mr. Capital. That's what it is. So it's a pleasure.
Yeah, we're grateful to have you as our insider.
Always a pleasure, guys.
All right, man. Talk to you
Take
soon.
care.
All right, later, brother.
Wow. Dude, he's such a great talker.
I mean, the thing is like poetry comes in all sounds, you know what I mean? And like hearing him riff on it,
Yeah.
it's got a melody to it. It's like listening to a great song. I'm like, I could just sit back and let this wash over me for hours.
Dude, like when he was talking about when he talked to Elon, he's like, and it's based on the market spread, which is like the probability of the deal. Like, you know, like I could, you're right. I could listen to it all day.
His highway is clear of clutter. It's just
Yeah.
one car going as fast as it wants. But you feel like he's sticking within the lanes. Like he's not, you know, playing fast and loose with it.
He's in New York?
I think so. I don't know if we're allowed to say.
Right.
He might be in Stockholm. Who knows? The guy's a world traveler.
Dude. Oh,
His
he's
passport
in
is
Geneva.
stamped. Mm-hmm.
That's like when that's like in Miami Vice when Colin Farrell calls what's the actress's name?
Gong Li.
Gong Li. He's like, "Where are you?" Geneva.
And Colin Farrell, he tried to improvise this, but they cut it out of the movie. But he goes, "That's hot."
All right, cut. What?
Well,
Like
it is hot.
Yeah.
It is hot, right? Isn't that kind of the point? It is hot.
That's hot.
He's just bragging to Jamie Foxx. He's like, "Brother, this girl travels. She's on the move. She's got the perfect suitcase for carry-on. It's packed beautifully. It's hot."
He's like, Jamie Foxx is like, "You're putting the whole team at risk," and he's like, "Look, she's hot.
She's fucking cool, man. What do you want me to do?
Yeah, she's so hot."
She makes moves.
Hey, Sonny, where were you? Cuba. Why'd you go to Cuba? She's hot.
Dude, what else? Did you watch Chappelle on SNL?
I watched his monologue.
That's all I watched as well. They gave
Yeah.
him 15 minutes.
Dude, I know there's like controversy around it, but every time I watch him perform, regardless of the content, just watching Chappelle with a mic reinvigorates my love of stand-up.
I wasn't crazy about his monologue. I didn't think the material was as good as what you're talking about. I do think he's the most gifted orator I might have ever seen.
Yeah.
Like the way he pauses, he doesn't waste words.
Yeah.
The way his punchlines flow so naturally in regular conversation. He's truly, I think, like just one of the greatest talkers ever. But it made me sad just because I'm like, I thought anti-Semitism was like done. And it's like people are still being like, you know, Hollywood's run by Jews and stuff like the whole thing just makes I'm like, guys, like,
Yeah.
and I know I'm not at those echelons of industry, but I don't think it's really like that. There's a lot of Jewish people here, but they just rip at Hollywood stuff. It's a good thing.
Yeah, there's good at, yeah. That's not, it is weird. It is weird when society or like people in culture, like big figures seem to like backtrack a little bit. Where
Yeah.
You're sort of like, because especially when you're, I don't know, you just seem like it's of the 20th century, of like the past. But I guess, you know, that's why you got to sort of like keep your head on a swivel because this stuff has been prevalent for
It doesn't
centuries.
go away.
Yeah.
No. And it does. It feels like backtracking. I just think too, like he's so obsessed with the cancellation stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's always like, it's been a hard couple years for me. Like they're coming. I'm like, but you keep succeeding.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're almost the worst argument for what you're arguing because every time you get more controversial, more good stuff seems to come your way, along with the bad. But like, who else gets 15 minutes to open SNL? He's the
Yeah.
only one.
Yeah.
And then he gets paid like $100 million a special. I'm like, I don't know if you're being that adversely affected by the thing you're saying is so
Right.
difficult.
Yeah.
Not that it doesn't happen, but I'm just like, but you seem to be crushing it, dude.
Yeah.
Speaking of mind-opening drugs, too, how is your
My microdose?
how's your foray into microdosing going?
Dude, it's been great. I've been having some really great days. You know what's interesting about it? It's like psychedelics in general is like, I'll sort of look at microdose days as like, oh, this would be a good day, you know. But the thing about psychedelics is just sort of that I think is cool is like even when I take a microdose, if I have some anxiety, it can heighten the anxiety, and so it more just instead of being like something like, you know, alcohol or something where it just numbs it, takes it away, it forces me to confront it more. And then when you
clues
confront
into
it,
what's fucking with you.
yeah, then you can sort of surpass it and feel really great. So I've been having some good days. Felt more creative, more just optimistic about life in general, just more at peace. We did a shoot on psychedelics, and that was like the most fun I've ever had. So
yeah, we had a good time. We went to a psychedelic conference in Dallas, which was not like a huge event. It was probably like 100 people.
yeah,
But it was a lot of fun. And yeah, me and Chad were tripping balls throughout.
yeah, totally. And so I've been enjoying it a lot so far, and I yeah, I'm interested in it because I'm doing psilocybin mushrooms. But then we talked to some professors at the thing, and they were like, LSD is better for creativity, psilocybin's better for like anxiety, depression. So maybe I'll, do a month of this. I have like a month's worth of shrooms for a full month-long microdose. Maybe I'll do LSD after that and see what I do. I'm just getting wild with it and getting crazy.
Yeah, you're trying stuff out,
dude. Yeah, but I'm fired up. I feel like I found my thing because, when I drink, it just like wrecks me for like days after. And so I was sort of like, I can't drink, and I like being sober. But then I felt kind of trapped by that, where I'm sort of like, I felt like I was sort of constricting myself too much, where I was like, it kind of created like a little bit of sadness or something, where of like, I was maybe being too hard on myself, something like that. But then finding mushrooms, where it's like, it sort of unlocked this thing in me where I'm like, oh, I can have fun, without alcohol. It's like finding a new thing. It's like finding my new thing. You know what I mean? I can't make it sound. It's hard to not make it sound bad. Like I just found my new drug, but that's kind of what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you found a way that you could get tilted that's not going to have like worse repercussions than the benefits of the experience.
Yeah.
Because booze always took a lot from you, and with shrooms, it seems like it cuts down on that the next day punishment.
Totally. But then it also gives me, I've written down some like thoughts of like, I think one thing I had too with a lot of the alcohol is that like it would unlock a version of me that I really liked. But then I would pay severely for the consequences and stuff and all that. And it just made me look like shit, all that stuff. And so I was like, I don't know. But then through microdosing, I found like, oh, no, that's inside of you. You don't need a substance even though I'm taking a substance, but you don't need a substance to unlock that. Mm-hmm. That's just inside of you, which I've always kind of known. But I think it's helped me to sort of find that in everyday life, except when I'm tired, then I'm just pissed.
That's normal. In Boston, some of my friends, and I met them through my dad. They were my dad's friends from Montana. They came to the show because a lot of them are East Coast based.
Yeah.
And one of the dudes, Max, he's around my age, but him and my dad were like besties, especially when my dad was going through a breakup. He moved to Miami and got a really sick apartment and was just kind of living it up. He was kind of partying, and Max was kind of his running mate. And they had a really beautiful relationship. But I went out there to visit my dad for Thanksgiving. He didn't tell me Max was going to be there. And I got like a little bit jealous because I'm like, why is this other guy who's like my age here? Like, did you not want to just hang out with me, Dad? But I was competitive with Max, and me and him ended up partying extremely hard. Like we were every night just railing Adderall and Coke and boozing and staying up and we were just staying up all day. Like we didn't sleep. And neither one of us wanted to like back down basically. But we were having a good time. But there was this like, for me at least, undercurrent of like, I got to beat this guy. I got to show my dad like I'm the harder partying guy. And like one morning, Max was like, dude, I feel like shit. Like, am I supposed to feel like this? I was like, dude, you're fine. And it felt so good. I was like, yeah, I'm kicking his ass. And then I overheard my dad on the phone later being like, yeah, JT and Max have been partying. Man, JT can party. And I was like, yes. But that weekend ended up being really bad for me. I went into like a tailspin afterwards of drugs and like webcam porn and all this gnarly shit. And me and Max never really talked about it. But he came to the show in Boston, and we were chatting about that week, and he's like, dude, I got sober after that weekend. Mm-hmm. And I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, you did. But the truth is, I got sober too. At least I still drink, but I stopped doing Adderall and Coke after that because I hit my bottom. I saw the devil, and I was like, I can't come back here anymore. Mm-hmm. Like that's where this takes me now. And it's just so funny that me and him trying to like just be hard asses and show that we were like tough in the weirdest way possible, just through partying. Both like kind of forced each other to get better.
Yeah.
Like I was stoked. He's been sober for like a couple years now. And I was like, and I haven't done that stuff in a couple years. And it was like, I don't know. I feel so bonded to him now because of that. I was like, fuck, man, you and me, like we went to the edge of it and we both came back, which is what makes it a good story. But forever now, I just feel like we're brothers because we went through that together.
Dude, I love that. And I also think that's always sort of in my sort of approach to substances or anything like that in life of like, I'm going to take it to the limit. Like, I've never really understood having a beer or two and stuff. I'm like, no, I'm going to take it to the limit and make myself so miserable that I'm off it for 2 years.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I'm vaping and stuff. If I start vaping, I do it all day, nonstop. I'm going to vape until I feel like complete shit. That's how I do it. Yeah. It's almost like the middle is just too boring for a lot of people, even though that is the Tao. You know, the Tao is the middle way, but it's just fucking boring.
It's tough.
Yeah.
Should we answer some cues?
Yeah. Guys, I'm interrupting this podcast once again to let you know that we are on tour. Get tickets to see us at chadandjt.com. I'm talking Denver, Atlanta, Salt Lake City, Nashville tonight, and more dates coming soon. chadandjt.com. Get your tickets now. We're also brought to you by the Legends at Prize Picks. Guys, if you're looking to get deep into fantasy sports and potentially make some moolah, that's why you gotta get Prize Picks. All right, how does it work? You pick 2 to 5 players, and if they will go score more or less than their Prize Picks projection, you can win up to 10 times your money on any entry. You want to put some action in there. There's nothing more fun than putting action on the game, and Prize Picks helps you do that. No competing against other people. It's just you versus the projections available. I'm talking NFL, NBA, MLB, NHL, PGA, college football, men's college basketball, NASCAR, every sport. You can do it. So here's what I want you to do. Go to download the Prize Picks app or go to prizepicks.com to sign up and play daily fantasy sports. First-time users can receive a 100% instant deposit match up to $100 with promo code godeep. If you deposit $100, Prize Picks will give you $100. If you deposit $50, Prize Picks will give you $50. Don't forget to enter promo code godeep at sign up for an instant deposit match up to $100. We're also brought to you by the Legends at Manscaped. Manscaped, thank you so much for keeping our chins peeled, for looking after our hawks, for making sure that our dinks are looking fresh and clean, because ho, 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 the holidays are here, and it's never too early to play holiday music, to put up decorations, and to think about your loved one's pubes. All right? You got to get gifts, and you got to make sure that the people you love in your life have well-trimmed pubes, because a fat bush is a thing of the 90s, all right? And we're well into the 21st century. So if you want to make sure that they got the lawnmower 4.0, that they got the weed whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, get on it now. I use these things every week when I got to do grooming. The weed whacker ear and nose hair trimmer is excellent. Manscaped has you covered. All things hygiene, from your head down to your bell end. Or vagina if you're a lady, because you can use these products if you're a lady. That's what's up. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code GODEEP at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com. Use code GODEEP. Manscaped, get your jingle balls ready for the holidays. All right, we're also brought to you by the Legends at Helix Sleep. Guys, I love my Helix Sleep mattress so much. It's a premium mattress brand that matches you to your perfect, unique sleep preferences and matches you to your perfectly tailored mattress. All you got to do is take the Helix Sleep quiz, find your perfect mattress in under 2 minutes, and your personalized mattress is shipped straight to your door or free of charge. Guys, the mattress comes rolled up in a box, and then you get to roll it out, and it's heaven because it's matched perfectly to you. I've had mine for 2 years, and I absolutely love it. I get on there, and I melt into my mattress. I love it. And they also offer a 100-night risk-free trial. So you got nothing to lose. Try it out. If you don't like it, send it back. But I guarantee you will like it, so get on it today. If you want firm, you want soft, blah, blah, blah. They got it. American made, come with a 10 to 15-year warranty, 100 nights risk-free, and they have been awarded the #1 mattress picked by GQ and Wired Magazine, 2 trusted publications. So, Helix is offering up to $200 off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows for our listeners. Go to helixsleep.com/godeep. With Helix, better sleep starts now. All right, let's get back to the show.
Hello, Sultans of Stoke. I come to you with a question of flirtation. I have a neighbor who is a babe. She has the same dog as me, and we run into each other in the hall, elevator, etc. all the time. I would have asked her out, but I had seen her with the same dude a few times, and out of respect, I gave this unknown bro space. When I run into her, the conversation never progresses past small talk. Last week, we were in the hall, and she asked if we could let the dogs off the leash and play. I said sure and asked her how her weekend was. She said it was okay. I went out of town to break up with my boyfriend. Whoa. I was shocked to hear this news, mainly because I don't really know this person at all. Bros, why is she telling me this? Is she sending me some obscure signal? Should I start making a move? I don't want to miss an op with a cute girl, but don't want to be insensitive to her situation. Any advice would be greatly appreciated. Yeah, dude, green light to ask her out. I think you're good. I mean, who knows what she's going to say, but she's single. You guys have good banter. Ask her out. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I just thought it was funny the analytical mind of the horny male. It's like she said this to me, so what does that mean? Does she mean she wants to fuck?
Yeah, she might have just been telling you what her week was, or she just wanted to share and get off her chest, but it's not a bad sign.
Yeah, no, totally. I remember one time I was like in like 5th grade, I had a huge crush on this girl, and I kept instant messaging her, but she was into my brother, and then she's like, Chad, honey. And she's basically like turning me down. I was like, wait, she called me honey. That means she wants to make out. But no, I think it's a good sign. I think he's just play it cool. I mean, she's fresh off a relation, so you got to take that into consideration. And just be like, just invite her out maybe something. Be like, hey, me and my boys are going out for the night in the town, and the way we party is we take it to the limit. So do you want to, do Adderall and Coke all night?
Dude, I was going to go the other way and ask her if she wants to go like apple picking. Don't women love that stuff?
Yeah, dude, I think that's probably a better move.
Or ask her, dude, you know what I've learned from being in a relationship? Maybe I'm older now, but like women love like redecorating their apartment. Be like, hey, weird. I got a coupon to go to Crate and Barrel. You want to go in there and like see if there's any fun stuff that we could use to decorate our respective apartments?
Sounds nice.
Is it hot? I think it's pretty hot.
Yeah.
All right. Dear Chad and JT, what up, bros? I come to you on behalf of my roommate, Danny, who could use your help. She is a longtime stoker of Stoke Nation. Introduced myself and our other roommate to your good vibes and activism. America needs bonding, and the three of us bonded while binging your Netflix series, which I must say was the poignant artistic equivalent of a fine bottle of Savvy B. Danny is having a rough time as late because the pressure is ramping up as she simultaneously finishes up her master's thesis in poli-sci feminism and supports herself through numerous part-time jobs. Total badass. Her topic is super rad interesting, but it seems to be very hard to continually digest emotionally. There's a lot of renobs out there that can really rob a strong woman of her stoke, and she goes to read about all of them. She has to immerse herself in all this toxicity to understand it and form a cohesive argument while not letting it overwhelm her. Honestly, the bit from Harry Potter where Dumbledore drinks the poison in the cave in order to get to the Horcrux is a wildly apt metaphor for what she's doing. Anyways, I worry she raises so many other people stoked, but no one's looking out for her. One thing that always gets her happy is you bros, especially you, JT. She loves you, man. Sweet. She's a regular listener of the pod, and if your bros could shout her out or give her some encouraging words, they could get her really stoked. There's not really a question here.
What does she do?
She's finishing her master's in poli-sci feminism, but basically she has to read about like all the worst examples of like, ugly men. And he wants to get her fired up. Well, dude, be the nice guy that you are. Clearly, you're so incredibly thoughtful. I mean, it teeters on like too much, but it's a beautiful thing. I would take her apple picking. Show her a nice time.
Dude, I think 2 words, pancakes.
Amen.
Bring her some pancakes. Have some pancakes with her. Dude, you go to a nice diner where you have waffles and you put syrup on shit.
Dude.
And you put syrup on pancakes and bacon, and then you put...
Dude.
I just bring her like a whole keg of syrup and be like, let's fucking finish this.
Dude, that was beautiful, bro.
Thanks.
That sounds great. Yeah, bring her some pancakes. Not a question. You know what? Our listeners are almost too smart. Be nice if we just had, like, we used to have more morons who would write in and be like, yo, I fucked my cousin. Should I tell my uncle? I do miss those a little bit.
Dude, yeah.
The answers were so easy.
Yeah.
Hi, Chad and JT. I was in a fancy Air 1S supermarket today, and I watched a guy accidentally knock over a display case of figs and then proceed to step on some of the figs as he just walked away. It struck me as a really inconsiderate thing to do because he did not even attempt to clean up or at least consolidate the mess he had made. He didn't even look the slightest bit remorseful for the other people who had to deal with this mess. One of the workers nearby had to clean his mess up after he walked away. It really fucked with my mental seeing this play out, and I got into this existential thinking about why jerks like him even get to exist. I would feel so bad if I did that, so I don't understand how other people who live and breathe can do that and just leave their mess for others to clean up. Why does evil exist? How can we continue to live and work and be happy in a world where we know that there are evil people?
Dude, I think just be the light you want to see in the world. I mean, getting yourself worked up over this guy, this fig master, who's a fucking, wider than he is tall dink, which is a chode. I think in those instances, when you see an asshole, just be grateful that you're not an asshole, and also embrace your inner good person. Maybe go clean up the figs, and just make one of the employees' days better. Because I think getting worked up over a chode is probably there's you can get yourself worked up over it all day, but this is your life, enjoy each day and let the chodes be chodes.
I think that's really well said. Let the chodes be chodes. Because I also think it's kind of tangential, but I think there's always the same way I was talking about how like my insecurities will always take up a certain amount of me and orient around something. I think there's always kind of a static amount of evil in the world, and it just moves around like almost like fashion, what we're evil towards or how that evil shows up. But I think like people are always going to be pieces of shit. That's just hardwired into us. And like even sometimes I'll have friends be like, "Can you believe this person treated me that way?" And I'm like, "Well, I've seen you do that to other people. So there's someone complaining about you the way you're complaining about that person. It just doesn't exist in your dynamic with that person. But like you have as much piece of shit in you as that other person. It just comes out in different ways. We're all just monkeys. You know what I mean? And like one monkey slaps us and then we walk over to another monkey and slap that monkey. And some people are better at it than others. But I think there's always a baseline amount of cruelty that just exists. And, it bums me out when it gets too many green lights or when it becomes too popular, but it's just part of like being human. Is like that's just in us. Some people are just fuckers. There's always just a certain amount of fucker that's just going to exist, and we'll never eradicate it. But we can, try and amp up the good parts. Like cleaning up those figs. That's fucking. Someone does that. That almost makes it worth it for the person who knocked over the figs. That you know that there's people out there who clean up the figs.
And two, I always find assholes, you can also laugh at it too. When someone's such a huge asshole, you can be like, that's hilarious that guy's such a piece of shit. You know what I mean? And then on top of that, what was I going to say? I forgot. I think assholes are funny. And, I forgot something too, but it was probably really profound.
You could also check that guy. You could call that guy a piece of shit. I think oftentimes too, like what fascinates me is that like people who are assholes are also sometimes, everyone's sensitive too. Like I was at a karaoke night one time and I just met this dude and he made like a stupid joke about like Asian people. And I was like, I didn't know him. I was like, bro, come on, don't say shit like that. That's rude. And then it got really awkward between us. And then like one more song played and we both like turned to each other with like tears in our eyes and we're like, sorry. But he was like so sensitive about getting called out. I think if there's a bunch of people around, they act tougher about it and they're like, fuck off, bitch. But like, if it's just like, if it's intimate and you call them out, like if you walk up to that guy and you're like, hey dude, that was fucked up the way you knocked over those figs. There's a 50% chance he'll be like, hey, whatever, fuck off. But there's also a 50% chance that he'll be like, you're right. I am a piece of shit. I don't know how I became this person. I hate who I am. And then you'll be like, bro, go easy on yourself. Yeah. But he'll be better off for it.
Yeah. And two, I remember I was gonna say too. On top of that is, if someone's an asshole too. Other thing is funny or you feel bad for them because obviously there's something that's making them really unhappy to make them behave that way.
For sure.
So if someone's being a dick, then you just be like, man. Especially if someone's a dick to you, be like, oh, yeah, there's something going on with you.
Yeah, like when he was a kid, he loved figs. but every time he'd go to eat them at the table, his dad would knock it off the table.
Yeah.
And they'd be on the ground, and his dad would be like, oh, do you still want these figs? 10-second rule? What if I step on them?
Dude.
And so now he doesn't even know why he does it, but he just has to like knock over figs.
Wow.
Because he's become his dad, because that was the only way to beat his dad.
Yeah. Then you could, pull a Goodwill Hunting and be like, it's not your fault.
It's not your fault. Not you, man. Don't you fucking do this to me. I used to think that was bad therapy, that the therapist did that and hugged him. But then my therapist was like, no, that was good therapy. And I was like, all right, fine.
It's not your fault.
It's not your fault. Shut up. Not you, shut. Don't you fucking do this to me. It is my fault I knocked over those figs. Don't touch me.
It's not your fault.
Don't touch me, man.
It's not your fault.
It is my fault.
It's not your fault. It's not your fault. It's not your fault.
All right, last question.
That was a huge breakthrough.
Super Spreaders is stoked. The boys and I have been spreading our musical stoke all over town in some high energy bars. The ladies love it, but I'm already in love with my That's funny. But I'm already in love with my dank GF. Is it wrong that I make some eye contact or smile at ladies? Some ladies having a good time? I want to give an engaging, energetic performance, but I can't help but feel guilty. I think I secretly enjoy the passive flirting and extra attention. Oh, you think? Oh, you think you might enjoy it? Yeah, duh, dude. You like it when chicks look at you? Weird, bro. Am I being too hard on this guy?
No.
Okay, cool. Is this wrong? As performers, any tips to staying fun but loyal to the ladies back home? Dude, I don't think there's anything wrong with that level of flirting, but I actually think it's good you feel bad about it. I think that shows how much you love your girl. And so I think it's actually a good thing. And look, you're still going to do it, but like, it's good you have like boundaries up on it. Like, you don't want to, that stuff can escalate. So it's good that you're leaving it to that confined space. And I think it's really nice that like when you look at them, you think about her. That speaks, I think, positively about you and her. Like, you guys have a good projection based off that.
Yeah. I think too, I don't think you should be the one initiating it too often. If you're sort of looking at them and just being like, with the eyebrows, just.
Whoa. Do you do that? That's crazy powerful. You got to be careful with that, dog.
Did you feel it?
I did. Can you hit me with it again? Dude, I feel really special.
Like he's talking about karaoke.
I know, it's his band.
Oh, it's his band.
That would have been way more embarrassing. I'm ripping at karaoke all over town. The ladies are digging it.
He's singing Lose Yourself. He's just... Yeah, dude, when you rip like a high E note, I don't know anything about music, but when you rip a fat C note, you just don't look over and just... Because that's going to escalate for sure.
And also, dude, like, you get to feel special for a moment as a performer. None of us are that special, and you get to have a fun experience that feels good for yourself. But you just always got to remember, at the end of the day, you're a fucking loser piece of shit, and it's all an illusion.
Yeah. And mind your e-brows, too.
Yeah, don't be willy-nilly with those, dude. It's dangerous.
Yeah.
Chad just hit me with those, and I've been like, I'm ready to throw it all away for him.
Yeah. He just creamed.
I did. I busted.
Yeah, he splooged on
But I
the couch.
recharged quick. Pretty quick.
Good thing that couch is...
As long as I can have sick thoughts, I can recharge. I'm never short on sick thoughts.
Good thing that couch is the same color as dried jizz.
Mm-hmm. Mustard yellow. Bad diet. We got to call one thing out. Jake's been coming on the road with us, traveling, shooting videos. What a legend.
Thank you. I really appreciate the opportunity.
We got another camera guy,
Cheeks.
We might just jump. Let's do it for beef of the week. Chad, who's your beef of the week?
My beef of the week is we covered it in the beginning, but waking up disoriented from a nap. Dude, I don't know if there's any kind of crazier feeling. I literally, it's like you're having a good day. I was super productive, but tired. Like, I was feeling tired, but I was just cranking it out, editing stuff, making calls, sending emails, resisting the urge to jack off, all the things you got to do on a weekday. And then I take a nap and I wake up an hour later because my alarm, I like slept through the alarm, and I was like, what? Oh, what? And I felt like I was in fucking, I don't even know where. I felt like I was in Alice in Wonderland. And, but not in a good way, in a way where you have like those giant cards coming at you and you're like, what the fuck, dude? So, my beef of the week is waking up disoriented from a nap and not getting, like, it did the opposite of what I wanted. It did not give me the rest I was craving for this pod.
I hear you, man. Well, you're ripping, dude. So
thanks.
You're playing well hurt. Dude, my beef of the week, I love our boy Chigas. He shoots on all of our videos. He's the best hang in the world. He's easygoing. He's smart. He's just you just look at him and you trust him. He's got a good heart. And he looks good. He's a handsome guy and he's in good shape. But his diet, the diet's out of control. He's ordering milkshakes every meal of the day with like buffalo wings. I mean, he's going across the board, crazy items. And I'd like to see his veggie intake get boosted a little bit. And I don't like picking on people, but when I think it's, to the benefit of their health, it's somewhat, deputized. So, Cheeks, I love you, brother. But next trip we go on, and he's been coming up with all the ideas for where we go. He's fucking firing off ideas. It's awesome. The guy's a wealth of creativity, but brother, man, I need to see you eat some broccoli, broccolini, anything in that family.
Dude, we went to Dick's for lunch. It was, I think you were hanging, but in San Antonio, and we had kind of started to give him shit about, we were in Dallas earlier, and he got like a milkshake or something. He's like, I'll have the platter. What's the platter? The platter is mozzarella sticks, fried pickles, buffalo wings. What else is on there? Like,
you say mozzarella sticks already?
Mozzarella sticks. Just every kind of appetizer that's fried.
And he's kind of leaning into it now. Like,
he's
now he knows
it.
He's got a rep. When we did your birthday dinner at Rainforest Cafe, great spot, check it out, local haunt. And he ordered straight to dessert.
Yeah.
He did like a brownie sundae, no entree.
Yeah.
Wild man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he also like saves everything and then eats it at like 8 a.m. So he had like wings and like mozzarella sticks before we got on the plane.
Oh, that's right. He had a like cherry Coke. What did he have? Like a root beer at 7 a.m.
He was housing root beer. He'll order these things anywhere too. Yeah. Like you'll be at like a Thai place. He's like, you guys do root beer floats here? I'm like, what?
Yeah.
He's asking for like blended items at like, like hotel bars. I mean, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. What a guy. Love him to death. This is what I'm getting on him about. Chad, who's your babe of the week?
My babe of the week is, dude. So I took the train from Boston to New York, and I mean, it was a beautiful fall day, probably like 60s, clear skies, and I'll be honest, I went to boarding school in Connecticut, and I wasn't the biggest fan of my time. And so I always had this kind of disdain for Connecticut, just because of that experience. It was just from that experience I was like, honestly, I was kind of like, I hate that part of the country because, I went through my adolescence there and I didn't have the best time. But now as a mature Stoke Lord, I took the train and I was like, this is Boston, New York, the Connecticut coastline, Rhode Island. It was beautiful. And I was like, oh my God, I love the Northeast now. I never in my life thought I would say this. I could live in Boston. I could do it. I love it there. And people were like, wait till the winter. But I was like, you know what, dude? These places are tight. And there's Dunkin' on every corner, and that fires me up. So I just want to give a shout out to the Northeast. I have a new reinvigorated love of it, and I can't wait to go back. New York City is the best. Amazing city. Boston, what up, dude? Saw the USS Constitution. So,
dude, my babe of the week is the same. It's New York City and Boston.
Yeah.
Tremendous cities.
Yeah.
Just amazing.
Yeah.
So fun. Like the life, I mean, you hear it a million times about New York that it's just like a different energy. It truly is. I mean, you walk outside. Here's what I like about it. Like, a lot of cities are diverse, right? Like LA is super diverse. You go to a restaurant in Los Feliz, you're going to see people from all over the world. But everyone's kind of muted out here. In New York, it's people from everywhere, and they're all being loud as fuck. So you hear all the different culture just banging into your eardrums, but it's exciting. It gets you up, and then you start being more of whatever you are. And then I liked it. It kind of brought out like the, because there's so much heart underneath the shit talking. You know what I mean? Like, you would just be somewhere and disagree with someone, but at the end of it, you felt like saying, I love you to them. You know what I mean? I'd be like some guy was like, you're going the wrong way. I'm like, no, I'm not, chief. You're going the wrong way. And then he went, all right, fine. And I went, yeah, good to see you, man. And then you walk away and you're like,
yeah,
it's the best parts about life all smashed into a quick little interaction. And yeah, I just love the passion. That's what it is. It's passion.
It's passion.
And it's all over. And then, dude, when you're driving down a New York street and there's steam coming out of one of the manholes, and you're looking all the way down and you can just see these huge skyscrapers that just all got stacked into this little island. It's I don't know. It's to me, I'm going to say it, and no disrespect to Boston, I think New York is the only true city in America. Although we're going to Chicago in a couple days, and maybe some people have told me that'll make me amend that. But I don't know. To me, New York is...
No, I hear what you're saying, because I was in New York City, and when you're there, when you're in like the West Village or something, when you're sort of looking at all the buildings and all that kind of stuff, to me, I was looking around and I was like, man, this is the pinnacle of human creation.
I think so.
This is, even though Europe started, 100 years earlier, Asia, similar thing. I think it's like New York was sort of like, I haven't been to France, Paris or whatever, or London, but it's sort of, when you're there, you're sort of like, it's like we sort of planted our flag of like, we're going to make this a beautiful piece of art, this city. And we're all work together and create something that's amazing.
Yeah, it's a real, like, it's like you're looking at like a cell and you're seeing all the different parts of it work together, and like you really do feel like you're part of like a bigger organism.
Yeah.
When you're there, I don't know any other city. LA doesn't do that.
No.
Because we're all separated here.
Yeah.
It's, as Strider always says, LA is a place in search of a city.
Totally. And also, dude, I love the subway.
I didn't ride it.
I love the
Was
subway.
it great?
Well, I just love it. I mean, first off, when you take the subway, it's like you're solving a puzzle of like how to get somewhere. You're like, you take the A train, then you get off on 34th, and you walk down to Broadway, and I just love figuring out where to go that way. But on top of that, you're like going through the subway. It's amazing. You're like, this is all under the city. I can't believe they built this shit.
We need that.
We do need that.
You heard what happened to Rachel on the subway, right?
No.
Our wild, intrepid, awesome stand-up agent, Rachel. Talked about her on here before. Most fun person in the world. Someone airdropped her a cock. Big dick.
Nice.
Big dick. But she's so funny. She was like, it was funny. And I'm like, Rachel, you're a wild one.
Yeah.
But if I would have been on that train and someone would have dropped that to you and the person was very little, I would have put hands on them. I would have pounded their ass, I promise you. If it turned out it was some tiny Oompa Loompa, I would have kicked the fuck out of that thing.
You throw him off the train.
I would have thrown him right off the fucking train. I would have fucking military pressed him off the ceiling, watched him hit the ground, curl up into a little ball, and then treated him like a ball and booted him straight through the window. Because that's what happens if you're a little predator and you're in my vicinity. I will take you out.
What does she know? Was it the guy's cock?
She didn't know whose dick it was. There was too many guys on this subway.
Oh. Do you think he did it to a lot of people?
I think he was probably aiming for the gals. But yeah, I think this motherfucker's probably doing that all the time. And I got to tell you, not a high success rate with that kind of approach. If you're a young man and you're listening to this, it doesn't work.
Well, I airdrop, photos of me butthole sunning to people, just you getting it in. You getting it in.
But you don't.
It's motivational.
Yeah, it's motivational. And, to your credit, maybe not to your credit, maybe you're afraid, you don't show your butthole.
No, I show my legs. It's sort of like Jocko Willink showing the sweat on his gym floor.
We know the butthole's there, but you're not. Like if it was the guy's face in the photo and he was like, but my dick's out, that's kind of funny, but still not okay.
To him in a
but
mirror,
still not okay. Yeah, just thumbs up and you don't see nothing, but he's like, but this is just so you know my dick was out during this photo.
And then he looks over and you look over at him and he gives you eyebrows.
I sent a dick pic to my gal from New York.
Oh,
I was
you did?
really torqued up, but I asked her first. I haven't sent one to her. I was like, babe, do you mind if I send you a dick pic?
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah, I mean, it won't do anything for me, but if it makes you happy, and I go, it does.
Yeah.
Fired that thing off.
Hilarious.
There was actually just in Houston, Texas, someone was on a plane and airdropped a picture of their cock.
I saw this.
And they got a felony.
Wow.
Yeah, well,
solicitate.
Yeah, it's pretty fucked up.
Yeah, so that's kind of crazy that someone's just willy-nilly doing it in a New York subway. I feel like it'd be kind of easy to find that person in that car, you know?
So I should be careful on my flight tomorrow.
In terms of accepting airdrops or sending airdrops?
Sending.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
brother.
I just wanted to send one to the pilot of like, did you butthole sun this morning? Because you're about to
that
fly.
one?
Yeah.
No, that's fine. I think you meant your dick, dude.
Dude, I've this is truthful. I've never taken a photo of my dick.
That's awesome. I believe that. You're a good guy.
Yeah.
And you're not like curious about stupid shit.
No, I just want people to get vitamin D.
You've never taken a photo of your dick?
No.
Oh, so you're not even curious what it looks like just to you?
No.
Okay, yeah, me too. Chad, who's your legend of the week?
My legend of the week is Kevin Farr, the schmoll. Dude, when we had like a week of work, and then although I had a blast with Kenny in New York City, so I had like a couple of days there where we were seeing the city and stuff, and so it felt. But it's just, I think I was just getting tired because it's like, you're in New York City. It's you're still, even if you're there for tourist reasons to visit, it's still making you. It's a city that never sleeps. So I was like, all right, when I come back to LA, I'm gonna have a full Call of Duty sesh, and I'm just gonna get some tea bags in, and just and I did 3 hours of Call of Duty, had some beautiful tea bags. And there was actually one instance that I'm really fired up on. Kevin had a great idea where we were, in the final circle, and he's like, well, I'll just play it for you.
Yeah, I'll also put it in the edit too.
Yeah.
Come in this bathroom stall with me? We could just be sucking each other off in the bathroom stall.
Wait, keep doing that.
Oh, they're here.
And in that same game, we got.
Oh, it's broken.
You got the dub?
I got the dub. So not only did we teabag some noobs, we also virtually sucked each other off. Or actually, technically, he sucked me off. And then we got the dub.
Yeah, you guys, that's like the Gordie Howe hat trick in hockey. You guys checked all the boxes.
Bro, you were so hyped. I saw the video and Chad's like out of his chair, like going like
But
this.
I wasn't expecting it.
Dude, it was hilarious.
Because I'd never win. And so, and it's just like for like two guys in their 30s, just be like he has a son who's sleeping next to him. He's like, well, we could suck each other off in the bathroom.
Yeah, for him to still be so creative when he has so many responsibilities.
It's so fun.
Speaks to his engine and his priorities.
Yeah, he's like, I'm like, can you teabag later? He's like, Stephanie's getting a haircut, so I gotta watch the baby. Maybe after that. Oh man,
dude, my legend of the week is Joe Pelazone and Brittany Sandler. Now Brittany Pelazone, dude, they had a wedding on Saturday. I had to hustle butt to it. And I got there in time for like the rehearsal dinner. I was honored to be one of the groomsmen along with Strider, who was officiating. Some other really good buddies of ours. My brother, first time me and my brother were up there together.
That's cool.
It's fucking awesome. And yeah, I think weddings take on the personality of the bride and groom. And they're both just so solid and so peaceful and so fun that the wedding had that vibe throughout. Like they were so chill about everything. Like we had like little... Like my brother got the wrong shoes from the tux place. My brother's like, fuck, my shoes aren't like y'all's. And Joe was just like, doesn't matter. Just rolled with it, dude. And then And that was the spirit of the whole thing. And then like Strider went up there and officiated the shit out of it and was like so heartfelt. And then they're so in love and their families are so beautiful. And they gave such touching speeches. And then, of course, nothing better than a wedding dance floor. It's because of the age spread. They only play the hits and everyone's just there to get after it. And it was a fucking rockin' dance floor. We went till late in the night. Me and my bro they had like an after party. We sang Casey and JoJo All My Life, just making hard eye contact. I think one of the most underrated things on the dance floor is eye contact. It's not even how your body moves, it's how you're locking in with other people. If you really look into someone's eyes and what your eyes are saying is dance, give me all you got, anyone can move when you give them that. And yeah, it was just one of the best dance floors I've ever been on. And they were so nice. We partied in a room afterwards till like 4 a.m. I'm like wrestling buddies and talking shit and then hugging and saying how much we're giving each other life pep talks. It was everything. My girlfriend, you know, she's the coolest. Everyone just fucking loves hanging out with her. And yeah, she's just a great companion and I love watching her work the room. And it was just really, really fun. So congratulations to Joe and Brittany. I know y'all are going to have a beautiful, beautiful marriage. And I was psyched that I got to be there for it. So well done, guys.
Hell yeah.
All right, Chad, what's your quote of the week?
Oh shit, I forgot to do a quote.
I can hit one real quick.
Yeah.
Dude, there's this Instagram page. I feel like such a cliche because it's this thing called _niche and they just post good quotes from like Bob Dylan or Leonard Cohen and, you know, popular thinkers like that. Mm-hmm. And, but dude, the quotes just rip. So I'm just going to pick one that I liked. And if you guys are into quotes, it's a good one to follow. This is from Murakami. What we see before us is just one tiny part of the world. We get in the habit of thinking this is the world, but that's not true at all. The real world is a much darker and deeper place than this, and much of it is occupied by jellyfish and things.
Whoa.
What a killer line at the end there, right?
Wow. That came out, that was a huge curveball.
That's what he does, dude.
But jellyfish are crazy.
I think Buster Keaton said, I let the audience get 2 steps ahead of me so I can double cross them.
Nice.
And that's Murakami in a nutshell right there. I did not see the jellyfish coming, but
yeah.
A well-picked animal.
Dude, huge question, too. Are they aliens?
They might be.
Aren't they immortal?
I think they are. Are we aliens?
Probably.
We might be. What's your quote of the week, dog?
My quote of the week, because you went with more intellectual, I'm going to go with Will Ferrell quote from Old School.
Hit it, baby.
Hey, honey, do you think KFC's still open?
Great one.
That's a genuine question to the Stokers. Is KFC still open? Let us know in the comments.
Chad, what's your phrase of the week for getting after it?
Let's stick it to the chodes.
My phrase of the week for getting after it is a chody chody bodie bodie gody gody chody chody lodi bodie dody dody chody 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 chody.
Is that French?
It's alien.
Oh. French are aliens.
Do you know what it
right?
translates to? Is KFC still open?
Whoa. Dude, you speak alien?
I don't think I did, but I guess I just did.
I think you are alien.
I'd be happy if I was. It would explain a lot.
Yeah. What if we are aliens? But then we gotta still be from somewhere.
Well, and what's more human than an alien that aches to be human?
Yeah.
I mean, that yearning, to me, that's peak human.
I got a phrase of the week. It's from JT telling Chigas, eat your greens.
I was all over him on it.
Dude, we were at Dick's, the restaurant, which is the one where the waiters are purposely rude to you.
Mm-hmm.
And she was kind of roasting Chigas a little bit. They give you like a hat, like a dunce cap that says like, you know, mine says, when he opened his pants, his crotch spreads apart like grilled cheese. And I asked her, I'm like, is that my pubes? Like, what's going on here? And she's like, if you have to ask, then you don't even know, dumbass. And I was like, but I think this is kind of my forte. I don't know. Are you saying I have a vagina? I don't know.
I think she expected you to just be thrown by her aggression.
Yeah.
But you stood strong and were like, hey, it's a valid question.
Yeah. But she got Chigas pretty good. Which someone could toss this one at me and I'd be like, that's a good, insult for me. But there you go. His hat said, "I masturbate to Disney movies."
Whoa.
It's pretty funny.
Which
Hopefully
is
it's the
true.
animal-based ones.
Oh yeah. Oh fuck yeah. I was
Dude-
thinking Little Mermaid.
I got one more legend too. I've been playing pool now in the cities we go to. I went to a cool pool hall in San Antonio. I walk in there, it's a girls tournament going on. The ladies were ripping. There was one pretty gal in there, and you could just tell by looking at her that she was like, I've been burned by a lot of douchebag men who let me down, so I'm just focusing myself on things that are, about me and about that I can get better at. I'm done with the fellers. That's the story I projected on her, but I felt it from her. But dude, there was a guy in there, and I don't hit on people anymore. So I've been trying to make more friends and treating that like hitting on. So I went up to a dude. I was like, hey man, you want to play me in some pool? He was like, yeah, let's do it. Dude, he was whooping my ass. He might have been the best pool player I've ever played. We were playing 9-ball. There was a couple racks I didn't get a shot. Like he was placing the ball and he kept playing me because I just kept asking. And then I think he finally let me win the last game just so I'd let him go. But dude, the best part about the whole thing, we played for an hour. I think we said 5 words to each other. Just playing. I was like, this isn't a guy who wants to talk. This guy just wants to kick my fucking ass. He gave me a couple pointers. That was the only thing we talked about.
Nice.
It was nice, dude. Good dude.
Hell yeah. Well, that was a fun pod.
That was really fun.
Mr. Capital came in hot. What are we clocking at? An hour and a half?
Yeah, hour 30.
Hour 33.
Dude, shout out to Mr. Capital. That guy's a beast.
He's a killer.
Stokers, thank you for joining us. Keep giving us reviews. Those help us out so much. If you're on YouTube, dude, watch the YouTube. Like, subscribe, do all that shit.
Yeah, get more people to watch.
Yeah, comment.
Get everyone to watch.
We're trying to boost our YouTube.
If you need advice,